We're live.
Oh my God, we're live.
I know. I got to turn on the volume, man. I can't even hear you. As a Larson fan, I would expect you to be much more just cocky today.
Job's not done.
Oh, come on now.
Job's not done.
Oh my goodness. Here we go again. Already starting it like this.
Job's not done.
He's gonna get disqualified for the next two races. Doesn't even matter.
Disqualified for what?
They're gonna find.
God bless America and gentlemen, start your engine!
Still down there. Still down there.
Still outside corner, you're number one.
Was out. Hell was out. Then just about outrigged him. And then she busted her ass.
I don't know what happened.
I just cut out. It was crazy. I'm just glad you understood the assignment.
Yeah, I did my best. Job's not done.
No, seriously, Kyle Larson has won this week. Neither of us picked him to win, honestly, so that was pretty interesting.
I have him in my fantasy, so I definitely picked him to win.
I put him in the fantasy, but remember, you picked Hamlin, sir.
David liked it.
Thanks for joining. It was
He
perfect
understood.
timing.
He understood.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously he goes out and, you picked Hamlin, I picked Byron, and
Jesus Christ. Ignore the dogs fucking bouncing off the walls right now.
Jesus, what'd you give them? Cocaine in their food?
Okay, yes.
Okay, I knew it. There's something was going on there.
Yeah. Oh, dear God.
Could your camera be aimed any higher? Like I can see everything going on in your ceiling right now.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's fucking terrible. So that's what happens when we go live like 3 seconds before I got all set up.
We're just falling apart already for the start of the stream. Here we go. All right.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So none of us had him actually picked to win the race, even though I thought he was going to win. But
I mean, you're not wrong.
your shoes. Yeah. Quick.
Stop clicking it. Stop clicking it. Jeez.
I was taking care of it.
Oh God. Here we go. Just going off here. You did not have as good of a day as your boy Kyle did. That was a mile and a half. Another mile and a half. I'm glad mile and a halfs are in the finals. What do you think about the others? What's up, boys? What's up, Bill?
What's up, Bill? As far as the others, I think I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm distracted there by comments.
Yeah, a little bit. Same thing. So when I talk about others, I'm talking about the other races we have coming up. Obviously, we have 2 short tracks coming up.
In Miami.
Yeah. And we also have Miami, which is another kind of mile and a half, but race is a little different too because of the way it's set up. So do you think this is the best racing we're getting in the playoffs, or do you think that there's better racing yet to come?
So I thought the round of 16 was probably the best round, just the layout of tracks, because we had obviously Darlington to open it up. Darlington never disappoints. Had
Never.
Kansas. That was not a snooze fest either. And then Bristol, even though the short track package sucks, I thought the Bristol race was pretty entertaining too. So the round of 16 definitely opened up as a banger, but the round of 8 for sure is still a really good round. I love Las Vegas. We saw an amazing race yesterday. Jeff Gluck had his poll come out, and there was 28% of people that said no, it wasn't a good race. I want to know what they're using as drugs, because that's some good stuff that they're on, because I don't know what they were missing out there. That was
I don't think it's good
race.
stuff. If you watched that and said that was a bad race, I don't think you were on good stuff. You had to have been on some bad stuff, because that was some good racing.
Yeah, that was probably the best race, best mile and a half race I had seen. Breast mile and a half race I've seen in about the whole season. There was obviously some other good mile and a half races, but as far as like the leader, walking away from everybody. We didn't see that. I
No.
think Kyle, at one point, Kyle got out to like a 2-second lead, and that was like pretty much the biggest lead anybody had all day.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many lead changes we had in all that day, but I mean, even that, like every bit of this race felt like there was something exciting going on. Sometimes we'll see just the front of the pack looks like it's got a good race going on, or times we'll get the back of the pack where that's where the racing is. I feel like this track, it gave us that whole race where it was all the way through the field. There was some momentum. There was people driving it in. There was aero. I mean, there was a little bit of everything.
So my favorite part of that entire race I think it was some point, I just ignore what's going on over there. My favorite part of that entire race was it was in the middle of the second stage when Hamlin was leading, Keselowski was second, Larson was third. And the three of them, they could not get away from each other.
No.
Nobody opened up any lead on each other. And there was attempts for passing, and obviously dirty air has, a role to play. You're never going to get rid of dirty air. But as far as the leader getting out and trying to, stink up the race, that never happened. So I was pleasantly, Jesus Christ, here we go again. I was pleasantly surprised at how good this race turned out. Vegas is a banger for sure.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome if it was a night race. They go back and run that at night.
I agree.
Kind of hard to do though, West Coast time and all that stuff. But
yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously West Coast times they'd have to start it way later, and I'm not
make Saturday night.
Yeah, I'm not wanting to stay up that late for a race. But yeah, I mean, it was a great race overall, and I gotta say, mile and a halves this year for Ford have not been great. And Brad
showed up.
Brad was out there. Like he went out there with that mindset of, hey, if we win this race, that means another, possible round of 8 driver can't win it. And he was doing his damnedest to do it. There was penalties and stuff going on all day with some of the drivers. I mean, even Ross Chastain was penalized at one point, and even he made it up there.
Yeah, he made it back up.
Yeah. So, I mean, I picked him, and it was one of those picks where I'm like, well, I haven't picked him yet, so I got a 5 out of 5 uses in my fantasy, so I'll just pick him just because.
I had him too.
Yeah.
I had a gut feeling that Ross was going to show up. And
I
had
so
a gut feeling too that Ross is going to show up this weekend at Miami too.
I agree.
Don't forget he finished second to Kyle last year.
I agree. Race. And that kind of brings me to my next point of what do we think about Martin Truex? Because yes, he finally got a top 15, but his showing still not strong in the playoffs.
Yeah, I still don't know what to think about Martin. If it wasn't for all his stage points and playoff points that he had put together, I don't think you would have seen him make it this far.
Yeah.
In the round, I don't think he would have been in the round of 8 for sure.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that he's made it this far, but really, I mean, points has allowed him to get that benefit there. I don't know what to think because Homestead, he doesn't really show up at Homestead that well.
No.
I mean, yeah, he's won at Homestead, but we've seen like the last 6 or 7 years, you got to win the championship race to win the championship, and that was a championship race that he had won. So I don't have much faith in Martin, putting on a ass kicking this weekend. I think he's going to get stage points, but I don't think he's going to be a contender for the win. And then Martinsville, I really don't think he's going to show up there either.
He has not done very well at a lot of the short tracks this year. Well, I don't want to say that. I'd say he's not been consistent, I guess would be the best way to say it.
I think as it stands right now, Martin is now the odd man out. Nobody had that going into the playoffs, but I think Martin's the odd man out. Byron is a lock. Hamlin, I feel like Hamlin's going to get in just on consistency.
Yep.
Even though I don't know if you've looked at the points, but the points are amazing how close they are, for the cut and everything. I think 5th and 6th still have a real legitimate shot. That would be Reddick and Bell.
Reddick and Bell.
Yeah. So I think there's going to be 2 Joe Gibbs cars, but it may be Bell or Reddick.
Do you think there's a chance for Ford, like a Busher, to get there?
He's going to have to show up and win this weekend.
And
I don't think they're going to be able to have the speed at Martinsville. Martinsville is going to be a really hard track to pass on.
Yeah.
So I think this is Busher's final shot this weekend to get anything done. He can do it for sure.
Yeah.
Same thing with Blaney. We'll talk about Blaney here in a second. The breaking news, like, an hour before we get on here, was that the disqualification was rescinded.
Yeah.
Like, are we just making up rules now?
Hey, NASCAR, baby.
So last night, Blaney was in a must win.
Yep.
And now he has the potential to point himself back into it. But I still don't see it. I don't think these are good tracks lining up for Blaney either.
Not for Fords in general, but especially Blaney.
Yeah.
I could see. I mean, obviously, we'll talk about picks and stuff as we keep doing these. But I could see Hamlin winning at Martinsville. That's kind of what I've in my head. I feel like that's what he's going to win. But I really think it's going to be Reddick or Larson repeating because they just run the wall so damn good at Homestead. Like they do it better than most of the rest.
So Larson has a huge advantage now, obviously, with being locked in. Last year, he wasn't in the round of 8. He got, knocked out before the Homestead race, and he went out there and dominated and won the race. He won both stages and won the race. Super. Dominating, with nothing to lose, essentially. Just run the high line, nothing to lose. Guess what? He's locked in now, nothing to lose. He can go out there and do the exact same damn thing, take away a win from 3 other guys that could lock themselves in. And really make it an interesting points battle. On the other hand of that, Tyler Reddick, he's fantastic at running the wall. He ran the wall for like 2 consecutive years in a row at Homestead to win the championship in the Xfinity Series for Junior Motorsports and RCR. So I wouldn't count Tyler out. I had Tyler in my Final Four a couple weeks ago. I still have him in my Final Four. But I think it's going to come down to there's a couple Toyotas. I think there's going to be 2 Toyotas and 2 Chevys.
Yeah, I could see that. I really wanted Buescher to be able to make the Final Four. These tracks aren't made for that for him, unfortunately. And this was a mile and a half that we had at Vegas, and unfortunately, he really wasn't there all day. Brad was, his teammate was all day, but Buescher wasn't. So I think that kind of unfortunately tells the tale for them. But we do have to talk about the fact that typically, not always, but typically, whoever wins the first race of the playoffs and when it gets to this round, especially Vegas, they typically also win the championship. So, I mean, Larson's in some pretty good spots. Now they can kind of plan that from now all the way through.
Same thing happened in 2021 for him, too. They went out. Texas was the opening round of 8 race. He went out, stunk up the show at Texas and won the race, locked himself in the Final Four. Guess what? They won the championship. Now, there was, a great pit stop at the end, but it got him to the round of 4. It took all the stress off. They were able to make a car that, go out there and compete and win. So, same thing. Logano did it last year.
Logano did it last year. Yeah, exactly.
I think it's over 50% of the guys that won the opening round of 8 race went on to win in the championship in this playoff format. So, the odds are there for Kyle. I like it.
Of course. And I was waiting for that text whenever you sent it yesterday. It's like, hey, them plane tickets. How them plane tickets doing?
Yeah. I looked. I can't afford it. I can't do it. I know Dakota and some of the other guys are going. So
the bad part about it is I think it was, what'd you send me? 550 for the tickets.
Yeah.
It'll probably be 1,000 now because all the Larson fans will start buying the tickets up, making the prices even more expensive.
Well, I know that Phoenix had limited tickets to begin with. They were advertising that they had tickets, but I know Phoenix had limited tickets to begin with. I'm sure it's still the same way. So and same thing with plane tickets too. It's interesting. I was looking at those. I'm like, just fly out there Saturday night, get there Sunday morning, and then fly back Sunday night, take the red eye back. I'm like, there ain't no fucking way I'm doing that. Not a fucking chance.
Oh, that'd be rough.
Yeah.
If you do something like that, you would have to go, especially because if he wins, you're not going to want to be on that plane coming back.
I would totally entertain it if Homestead was the championship race.
It's not as bad, that's for sure.
Yeah. I probably would have done it and just called in sick Monday.
Yeah, because I think, let's see, Miami is only like a 4-hour flight, 3 or 4 hour flight.
Honestly, it's probably about that, maybe less.
Yeah, so that would have been
probably 2.5.
It might be. Yeah, I don't know. I don't fly that down there that often.
I know Phoenix is like 4-hour flight, but you have time zones that you're crossing back. It's not that bad going out, but coming back. Yeah, because I looked. It said departure was like 11:45 at night. whatever time zone is.
Yeah.
And then arrival was at 8:30 Eastern time Monday morning into Charlotte. I'm like, nah, not a fucking chance. And I still got to fly back to Augusta, so it's not a chance.
Yeah, no.
It'd be nice.
But a man can dream. A man can dream. Now, let's see. Xfinity, you know, I watched a little bit of it too. It seemed like it was a decent race, but
yeah, I watched it. It was a decent race. It wasn't as close as a competition as the Cup race was. Riley Herbst gets his first ever career win. Good for him. That's cool to see. There was talk in the group chat how cheated up that car was. Somehow he passed inspection. I guess is from that burnout, you know, tearing up whatever was broken or whatever was cheated up in that car. He was. I saw a stat. He was like for that last run, he was over a half second faster than the rest of the field. Like, remember they were talking about the Truck Series and what's his name? I can't.
Majeski.
Yeah, Majeski. They had the leaking valve stems, but he was out there he was like a second faster than the second place truck at Richmond. Yep. So,
yeah, no, I mean,
saying he was cheating. Maybe they're being innovative.
Going on with that car for sure. There's no way that dude was fast. Now, congratulations to him. I mean, obviously that's racing. Cheating,
home track.
He ain't trying.
Home track.
Yeah. And congratulations to him. I mean, Monster Energy finally gets another win. He gets his first win. I do wonder, you're talking about Monster Energy and race teams. Now, obviously, we've heard that Haley Deegan is going over to Xfinity next year, but I didn't see Monster anywhere or any of the clothing or anything when she moved over for that Xfinity piece. However, I did see her post an Instagram talking about Monster and holding a Monster. However, the clothes still not Monster branded. So I'm wondering if that deal is almost up and she's losing that sponsorship.
I don't know. Maybe they can't talk about it. I did hear it's possible. Maybe Monster is reallocating some money. My shit just froze.
Yeah.
Both ends. But okay.
We still hear you.
Yeah, I know. Wait, this catch up. Come on. Still frozen. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I did hear a rumor talking because there's been some speculation, like as much as Jordan's been sponsoring Reddick's car.
Yeah.
I wonder if Monster is going to be sponsoring some more of Reddick next year. I heard that Monster's Beast brand was going to be a primary for a lot more races next year, potentially for Reddick. So maybe they're allocating some money that direction and taking away from Haley. It's hard to say.
What I would like to see is that they go and sponsor the actual like series again. That's what I would like to see, because I heard someone. I don't think it's going to happen, but is like, I don't know when Xfinity's deal's up.
A lot of the Busch stuff going around, calling it the Busch Grand National Series again. Yeah, I'm on board with that.
Yeah, same.
No, hey, I love Xfinity being the title sponsor. I think it's a cool name and everything for the only gripe I have is every fucking driver. My car was not as fast as Xfinity 10G internet. Like that's fucking old.
But their slogan, like the fact that they rolled out that slogan and got every driver to say it, like they don't even think about it anymore.
Xfinity's done a fantastic job to be a title sponsor of the Xfinity series. So I'm not hating on them at all. I would be disappointed if they left out. The only thing that would make it better if it was the Busch Grand National Series. And I saw the only social I still have anymore, you know this, but the only thing I have right now is Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And I've seen a lot of people talking how maybe if they don't go back to the Busch series, they may call it the Xfinity Grand National Series. Like bring that title, give it their own identity again. We have the Cup Series, NASCAR Cup Series, NASCAR Xfinity Grand National Series, or Sportsman Series. Like bring back something like that. Yeah,
I agree. I mean, it'd be cool. It'd be cool for some throwbacks like that to come back. I don't think it is, unfortunately. I mean, Craftsman's back for the trucks, which is cool. I mean, Camping World will never be back, I don't think.
I'd rather be Craftsman anyways, because Craftsman, that was the original title sponsor. So
yeah.
And Bill made a good point there too. Monster is 50% owned by Coke. I don't think Monster is hurting for money. So my theory of them cutting back from Haley just to sponsor Tyler more, I mean, it's just a theory. As much money as they have and they can put towards, sponsorships, because look at everything that they sponsor. You know, it's not just NASCAR. It's everything.
They do a lot. Yeah, I mean,
everything motorsports they're involved in.
They're kind of like Red Bull, where Red Bull has their hands in a whole bunch of different types of motorsports.
Yeah.
But yeah, they also just bought Bang, so they had to spend a couple bill for that, and maybe it's a little bit just other business pieces too. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it's just interesting. Haley Deegan, I think, has always been kind of notorious with Monster, and if she loses Monster, these other two sponsors that are kind of the title sponsors they announced with, they have to be bringing a lot of money to the table to be able to get her in that Xfinity ride, because they talked about that before, where it was easily almost double from what it costs in the truck.
Yeah, and from Xfinity Cup, you're talking triple, if not quadruple.
Yeah, much higher.
So, business model nowadays is broken when it comes to NASCAR. The thing about Monster and Haley, I don't pay attention to how many truck races or all the truck races on TV, but I haven't seen a lot of Monster primary schemes for Haley either. So I'm sure that they're still in a partnership, but it may be to a lesser extent.
It's true. It's possible. Yeah, and I mean, I think realistically they have a really good driver in Xfinity. Obviously, he just won. And then they have a bunch of cars in Cup. Sometimes you can't tell the difference between the daggum cars, which I really hope they do more, like the Ice Beast.
That was what Riley ran.
Yeah, that was awesome. I hope they continue to do stuff like that, because they finally broke the mold of having two black cars out there with the Monster M on the hood.
I like Ty being in the black Monster car. Now, on the other hand, I think that if you're going to give Reddick the Monster sponsorship as well, switching it up to have the Beast deal going on, and change the colors of the cars, like the ice one that they have four flavors right now. They have
Beast,
So I mean, there's no point Blaney going to win the championship now. You're smoking crack.
You're on what the dogs are on.
You need to leave.
Yeah,
there's no way.
He's DQ'd from the playoffs. It's just not happening.
He DQ'd,
undQ'd.
Yeah.
Question marks. But so I do want to touch on what Dave was talking about here. I think she does better in Xfinity than she did in trucks. Xfinity, the cars are a little bit crazier. They're always more on edge than the trucks are. The trucks, of course, are
they're not a spec. They're not a spec.
Yeah.
The truck series, they run Elmore engines, so that's a spec engine. So everybody has the exact same engine. There's no competitive advantages there.
Nope.
It all comes down to obviously chassis development and really,
are you willing to wreck?
Yeah, really, honestly, you're not talking about even the top tiered team in truck series is probably kind of junk equipment still. Like, you can make the step up to Xfinity, you're going to have some better equipment no matter what it is. And where she's at Thor, I didn't realize my camera froze again. That's cool. Where she's at Thor is
it's all falling apart.
Dude, it's terrible. Where she's at Thor, she's playing fourth fiddle or whatever. And it's not just because of what her, stats are on the track.
Yeah. But it got at the same point, I'm like, Thor, they have some good drivers. I mean, you're talking about some championship contending drivers, and then there's her. Yeah. So I almost think that she was losing the truck ride regardless. So she kind of she's very excited to have this, because she didn't have a ride, or at least one already talked about, without it.
Yeah, I think Haley's going to. I don't think she's going to shock people, or surprise people, or whatever. I don't know the word I'm looking for.
You're getting at least a win.
My expectations for her are low going into this, because she had that one-off Xfinity race last year at Las Vegas. She finished in the top 15, first ever race. So I think what she was doing in the truck series is she's going to continue that on in the Xfinity series, but people are going to be like, well, she's running top 15 in Xfinity. She's doing the same thing she was in trucks, but that's a big jump.
but different car, crazier car, more on edge.
Yeah.
I think she can get top 15. I think she can get some top fives finally, some decent ones. And
I wouldn't go that. I wouldn't go that far. At least in her first year, I would definitely say her first year. I wouldn't. I would expect for her to at least pull a top 10.
Top 10. Okay. We'll see. I think she can get one top five. And I think it might be a fluke top five, but I think she can get one top five. But okay, top five, top 10. We'll have to save it for later.
Yeah. Save that for later. If she has decent equipment, she'll do better. Yeah. Again,
we don't know yet.
If we're talking about Xfinity Series, yeah, for sure. If we're talking about Truck Series, I don't think equipment really boils down to what it is anymore.
No.
But
all right, so let's talk about Blaney. So we obviously have a big Blaney fan in the chat. So let's talk about Blaney DQ'd, but not DQ'd.
Yeah, so he finished what, 6th, 7th,
And
then it was like an hour afterwards. Bob broke the news that he had been disqualified for a ride height issue due to the shock, essentially.
Yep.
And I guess it was too short in the jig to measure it. And then today they came out and said, we're rescinding the DQ. I guess because
there was an error with the jig.
Yeah, I
don't really understand this. Now, when we were at Charlotte, I kind of watched because they were measuring the shocks. They put them into this box with another one. They were measuring the shocks and everything. And I don't really understand how the template could have malfunctioned for just one shock and one driver. Now, I don't know how many they checked. Don't know. But it sounds like loose windshield bolts.
Yeah, I'm struggling to comprehend this because I can't think of any situation where they've actually DQ'd a driver and then a day later, just pull it right back.
My bad. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I don't know.
Imagine if this was Hendrick. Someone said it in the chat, and I agree with it. Yeah, it worked for Hendrick. People would literally be just going, no, Hendrick favoritism. Not many people are saying much about this. And I mean, it's Penske. They haven't done well this year, obviously. They've been kind of struggling as a team. But I don't get it. How is it only one did it malfunction on?
Yeah, I don't. So the thing is that, they set these cars up right on the edge of their tolerances. They have a allotment for what they think the car is going to naturally lower over the course of the race, and then their post-race ride heights. It's hard to say, was it a ride height issue, or was it because of the shock that caused that? Did it compress and didn't rebound like it should have?
Yeah.
I don't know. I am sure that there will be what's his name coming out like we saw at Charlotte talking about the windshield issue.
Yeah.
They'll discuss what happened there. So I'm not.
Yeah.
Fascar has done a really good job since Denny called him out to be more transparent about it. So I would hope that they're going to be a lot more transparent about what they had found and then why they DQ'd him and why they're rescinding the DQ and for what reason.
Yeah, I mean the little bit of information we've gotten so far it doesn't sound right. Nothing about it sounds like it should be what they're saying. So hopefully they come out with it. But I mean, if anything, Blaney is still in a must-win. I don't think he can get in just through points, honestly, for the next couple of races coming up, especially with the strengths playing to multiple of the playoff drivers.
Yeah, he's in way less of a must-win. I feel like I still think he's gonna probably have to win to get in. But look, one of these other three guys that are holding, a top 4 spot. Quit motherfucking yawning,
dude. I
do this every time. I think one of these guys may have some trouble. Whether it's Denny, Byron. I think we may see an upset.
Yeah. I mean, I could see it. I mean, we saw Denny. Denny did not do. I mean, Denny's done well at Vegas, and he did not do well.
Denny's like 3 or 4 points above the cut. That's what I'm saying. Like this points battle, Byron is in second, and he's 9 points above the cut. I think it is. This points battle is insane.
I think it's different now because of the whole Blaney thing.
Yeah.
Let me see. I have it here.
I was going to look too.
Jake Garcia won't return either.
Why is it? I don't care. I can pull it up on here. Yeah, so I think we're going to see a interesting.
Byron's +9, Truex +2, Hamlin +2.
That's what
So
I thought.
Truex and Hamlin are tied right there at it. And then you got Bell at -2, but then you got Reddick at -16. Well, thank you, sir. 40 pounds down.
And Joseph's 40 pounds up. And so let's move on to picks.
All right, so let's see. We're doing Homestead, Miami. So I think I am going to go with Reddick here.
So I didn't want to go for low-hanging fruit. I actually wanted to pick Reddick, but I'll have to go with Kyle. I think he's gonna give him hell and make it to where there's two guys at least getting in to the championship 4, which is going to make this points battle even more interesting.
Yeah, and I really think, I think this is going to be one of those, Byron. I could see him doing well here as well, but I really think this is going to be, like I said, I only see 2 drivers winning in the playoffs. I really thought, last week was going to be Hamlin. It was Hamlin for that one or Hamlin for Martinsville. But, we'll see if they can pull it off again. Like if we have a repeat winner, that still makes it harder for the other guys.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with you. I think Hamlin's going to be the logical choice for next week. I already know who you're probably going with for next week. So I would have to think of somebody else. I said earlier today in the group chat that I thought Bell was going to sneak in and do it.
Yeah.
Bell has actually been quite surprising. Very, very sneaky quiet these playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been all playoffs long too. Obviously they switched the pit crews to try to help, and it really didn't. It made it almost worse. But he's just done enough. He's been there and done enough. Yeah. So can that get him farther? And then a Martinsville win propel him to be able to do something? I don't know. I don't think it's him though this year. I really think it is either Hamlin's or now Larson's
for winning the championship.
For winning the championship. Yep.
Man, I think Byron's going to make the shot in.
I think he's gonna make the top 4.
They're going to obviously Hendrick's going to put a lot of their effort now into getting that 24 in, so they have 2 guys in the final 4. Yeah. And because of that, Byron can have a legit shot too. I think there is a strong possibility when this season's over with, we're going to be talking about how Alex Bowman's the only guy at Hendrick without a championship, and will be the only guy at Hendrick without a championship
until next year, whenever he no longer has a ride.
Yeah,
we'll see.
He re-signed, I think. Extended.
Well, he re-signed all the way through the end of next year.
Was it?
I think it was through 2025 season.
I'm pulling it up right now.
I can't remember.
Pulling it up right now.
So it should be all of next year. Oh, it might have been next year.
2026.
2026. Okay. Well,
he signed a 3-year contract extension this year. Ally signed a 5-year extension through 2028.
I don't know. I've heard some grumblings out there, so I don't know what the buyouts or the performance and pieces are on it, but who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
All right. That wraps it up.
Twas fun. We'll have an interesting weekend coming up here. I'm excited for Homestead. I love Homestead. We're down to 3 more races, man.
Just 3 more, and then we get a couple weeks off, and then it starts all over again, it feels like.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
And it's going to be cold as hell. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Well,
thank you for everything. Make sure y'all hit that like, hit the subscribe. Thank y'all for sticking around. We appreciate it. And, just help us keep doing this. We enjoy it.
Bye.
All right, guys.